or afternoon, depending on where you are. It's right about that time where we're kind of in between the good morning and the good afternoon. Um, I've been running around this morning, and I just wanted to come on real quick and say hello. I had to put my camera a little bit lower because it's super hot right now. And hey, good morning, Joe. And the last time I did not do that, I overheated my camera, and y'all got like a third of a live stream. So my apologies for the weird angles today on the video. Folks, in the last 48 hours, I've become convinced that, and by the way, Bentley's back here. Bentley. Ta-da, Bentley. Bentley's gone thus far to the farmer's market, to a gun store, to another store, and then he went to Black Rifle and got a puppuccino and a ice water, and then he got some other treat. I forgot what the hell I gave him, so he's probably gonna fart all afternoon. Hey, Suburban, what's going on? Y'all, I've become convinced that some of our leadership in this country have lost their damn minds. Not that they're being obnoxious. What they're doing, literally, to me, makes no sense. It's the dumbest shit one could possibly do, but no, they're choosing to do it. And it just makes no sense to me. Hey, Jeep, what's going on? Johnny Preps, hello, hello. So again, apologies for the weird camera angle. I had to finagle my camera holder to be low, otherwise the sun is already so hot, like I can't even touch my windshield. And it's only like, it's not even 10:30 in the morning, so it's gonna be a hot one today. Supposedly will be between 102 and 107 all week, so that's gonna just suck. So by the way, that's a good case for making sure you have the right items for preparedness in the event your power goes out. But I won't talk about that. That'll be another video. The second these people address me without speaking... Oh, shoot, I lost it, Joe. Sorry. So, hold on. I'm trying to get all the live, and it doesn't want to let me do it. So if I missed your chat comment, my apologies. So I got forwarded a video of a senator in the state of California. And this guy, he gets on and he said, the state of California is doing things that are not only contrary to the Republic and to the Constitution, but he said they are immoral and incorrect. And he closed his statement, and if I can find that statement again, I'll try and put it in some kind of joint video. Hey, Mad Chad, thanks for joining. He basically said, in California, they're taking away your right to be involved in your child's education. They're taking away your right to be involved in your child's sports. If you don't allow them to indoctrinate your child contrary to your religion, they will take your child. And they've now passed a law that if you do not put your child through, what do they call it? DIO, diversity, inclusivity, orientation, or something like that. I can't remember what it is, what they call it. That's child abuse, and they will take your child. If you don't allow your 7-year-old to have surgeries done at the behest of an adult, they will take your child. And he went through a list of these, and then he said, I grew up in California. I love California. I was raised here. Hey, Royal Lioness. Hey, Daryl. I was raised here. The people here are great, but our leaders have lost their damn minds. He said, I've been a state senator for 11 years. I have worked hard for small business. And I don't know what party this guy is. He said, at this point, I can no longer look at my constituents and feel like I'm being effective in doing my job while the state is threatening to take their kids at every turn and indoctrinate them without the parents' consent. He said, I am now telling all my constituents, in the past I tell you, fight the good fight, petition, vote, etc. He said, this is a state senator in California says, in the Congress, in their state Congress goes, those things won't matter anymore. At this point, those of you who love your kids and want to raise them those of you who want to have a small business, you must leave California. Flee this state immediately and do not come back, because this state has lost its mind. This is a state senator who was the chairman of several committees, a well-respected senator. From what I read, I can't remember if he's Democrat or Republican, but he's kind of one of those middle-of-the-road people. He literally said in front of the full House and Senate of their state, told the population to leave the state of California because no good will come to you or your family if you stay there. He said this is not a reflection of the people, but the system has been set up so that the people who are taking power do not care about you. They do not care about your business or your children or your family, but they want to indoctrinate your family without the inclusion of your families, the parents or the grandparents. He said, I must tell you as your congressperson, those of us who are trying to do the right thing are outnumbered, and there are not enough of us to make a change. Flee California. Go to Florida, go to Ohio, go to Texas, go wherever, but do not stay here. If you want to continue to raise your own children, this is not the state to do it in. And he got emotional. The guy's like, I grew up here, my kids were raised here, my memories were here, I love the parks, I love the people out in the country, but what is happening here is awful. And hey AJ, what's going on? And this guy genuinely looked absolutely hurt, and this guy genuinely, I mean, he was emotional. That dude, this is a guy maybe in his 40s, 50s. He got very emotional, and the senator next to him starts wiping her eyes. And when you're a state leader, the chairman of the Senate committees is telling all of you, hey PBC, what's going on? Hey Prepper Book Club, telling you, leave your state, flee. We cannot do right by you anymore. And supposedly, it wasn't on the video, but supposedly they asked, well, are you going to stay? And he said, I've already told my adult children to take our grandchildren and leave. And they're headed to, I think they were headed to Ohio or something. Or they were headed somewhere other. And he said, not even New York is like this. He said, New York does dumb things, but New York is about business. They understand money won't flow if you have crime. People won't pay taxes if you run them off. He said, California doesn't understand this anymore. He said, I don't know. And what's scary is California has the largest number of electoral votes in the electoral system. So you think about it, if I were China back in the 1960s, and I'm like, I want to screw with America, but China is not like us, right? Americans I hate to say it, we tend to be stupid. We look at the next election, the next quarter, the next 5-year plan. The People's Republic is looking at the next 100 years, right? If I were 1960s Chairman Mao, leader of the Communist Revolution of China, in the midst of the Cold War, and I wanted to say, I'm going to screw up America. I'm going to go and influence the biggest state with the most electoral votes to fuck up the entire country. Think about it, right? People are like, oh, you have immigration in New York, you have immigration in Texas. Yes. Rotten Ronnie. Well, actually, Joe, when they went to the jungle primaries under Schwarzenheimer, I think it was Schwarzenegger passed it. The goal was to prevent the political parties from being corrupt, right? Which you're never going to do. But up until that point, you had to have a Green Party, Democrat, Republican, and then whatever party had more than like 500,000 votes on a petition had to have a nominee. After that, whenever you voted for your governor, it was the top 2 people. So if LA and San Francisco are the 2 most populous cities and they vote for, say, 2 Democrats, you're going to have two Democrats running against each other. It kicks the Republican out. They're not obligated to have any other party other than the top two. So you see where that goes wrong, right? Their idea was, oh, well, we'll prevent Democrats or Republicans from buying the vote. But what you've done is now all you need to do is get the two cities and fuck the rest of the state. Who cares? And this is exactly what happened. And the fact that Schwarzenegger didn't see that, he's a dumbass. I think it was Schwarzenegger. That was the same guy who said, to hell with your feelings and to hell with your rights. Go get the shot. But then, Dr. Fauci was like, no, you need to take the booster and then the other vaccine and the boosters. And then the reporters are like, what about the immigrants coming in illegally? No, they don't have to take it. Wait, what? So you want us to take it, but they don't have to take it? No, you just need the third booster, and then we'll have the daily Rona shot. Him and his nonsense. Is it me, or does he sound like Rocky's coach? David Spade was making fun of him, and he says he sounds like Rocky's coach, but he does. Is that not how Dr. Ouchie sounds? To throw him under the bus for his gun control measures. Yeah, constitutional, absolutely. Hey, Daryl. Hey, Magic. What's going on? So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, a senior state senator in California, in the open hearings, in front of the news cameras, told his constituents, we can no longer stop the state from trying to make laws to take your children. Hey, the dude. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Suburban. We can no longer stop the people in power in the state. You must flee the state of California. Wow. Right. Any other senator who goes like Texas or New York or Idaho or Ohio, wherever you guys live, if a state senator said you need to leave the state, it sucks, he'll never get voted again. Right? Every politician knows when you say something like that, your political career is done. He clearly understands this because he even admits, if you want to have your family, you need to leave. And again, supposedly, and I didn't see this video, allegedly after he made that statement and the senators next to him were crying. And apparently it's not just the Republican or the Democrat. There's like a lot of them in the middle that are absolutely, he's already told his adult kids, take the grandkids, leave, go somewhere else, go to Texas. So on the one hand, I don't want Los Angeles in Houston. I don't want that. But at the same time, if those are the people we're getting, I'll take them. Yeah, Magic, I'm in the middle of nowhere again with Bentley back here. Bentley's passed out. He got a busy day. He was being a shit and he got in a fight with the girls, and then the girls beat him up. And then he was chasing poor Jackson. He chased the cat away. He was just rambunctious. So he's been to various places today. He went to the gun store, the farmer's market, Black Rifle Coffee. He got a pup cup and a treat. Yeah, Mad Chad. And for a senior state senator who's been in the state Congress for 12 years, 11 years, we're going to need a lot of time. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, AJ. That's sad. And I don't think this is no longer, to me, I have friends who are liberal in the intellectual sense. They believe in, everyone should have equal rights, if you want to be gay, whatever, you want to be straight, whatever. But there's a certain rule of common sense they have. I can sit with them and disagree about something, but at least it's an intelligent conversation. We have people who get on the stand in California and go, we need to do this, everybody listen, ah! And they yell like a 5-year-old. But they're elected officials. They have elected a bunch of mentally ill people in that state. Not even fringy, not even like, well, he's clearly intelligent, but he's just way out there with his ideas. No, these fuckers are nuts. They would be in a home any other state. But anyway, yeah, folks, that was it. That was the first news video. I got forwarded by my wife sent me one, and that was it. And that one absolutely floored me. And I'm like, have they lost their damn minds? So basically, if you are a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim, and you do not believe that your child should see trans stuff or gay stuff, and you sign a waiver saying, I do not want my child involved in this, send him to the auditorium to watch a movie or whatever, which is what we used to do in the past, right? They'll be like, oh, we're having sex ed. If you don't want your child in sex ed, they'll go to the auditorium and they watch, they'll watch a movie about mathematics or something, right? No, that's no longer an option. That's child abuse. And have they lost their freaking minds? And they're aware that their constituents will be run off. Like, the people will leave the state. I don't understand when you have senior senators, and that's it. You know his career's done. Bentley, we don't do that. Thank you, Suburban. Good eye there. He's chewing his own seatbelt because he doesn't want to be attached to it, because he wants to be free-range potato in the house. Or in the car. Which is forbidden, because then he wants to be here helping me drive, and that's not where Mr. Potato needs to be. Hey, Watchman. He's bored now. I'm gonna take him to the park before it gets too hot, because it's already like 90 degrees. It's not even 11 o'clock in the morning. And by the way, he absolutely fell in love with this young husky at the farmer's market, which was hilarious, because he's got little legs, and he's like, his little tongue came out, he was like, hello, and she was a beautiful husky. I'm like, if I were a boy corgi, I'd like that husky too, young man. But he became all stupid, and then he was like, dude, he got little Google eyes after he saw her. I don't know how that would work, buddy. You're way too short for her. But anyway, poor Bentley, right? But yeah, so California's lost its mind, and now their senior senators are telling the constituents, no matter what I vote in the Senate, I can't pass the laws you want because the leaders have lost their mind. And that's absolutely terrible. By the way, some of your comments are getting blocked, but I can't see them because they're jumbled up. It's just the filters. If you put something that the filter's like, oh, that's a bad word, but I can't see the bad word. So I don't know if there are any mods still on. If it's not completely going to get all of us banned from YouTube, if you could let those go. But anyway, so California's lost their marbles, apparently. Yeah, that was a hell of a thing to see this morning. YouTube doesn't like me. Actually, the last one was you. I saw Joe Morgan, and then it was all gibberish, and I couldn't see it. So the other story comes from Illinois. They have passed a law that immigrants can be police officers. Hold on, there's a caveat. Not legal immigrants. Illegal immigrants can now become cops because they can't hire enough American cops because none of them want to do the job because the job sucks. So let's stop for a minute here. We have people coming in from other countries where it's okay to beat children, to rape women, openly rape women, rape children. And there are various cultures like this. I'm not going to call out any one particular because there are several. Beat the public. And what happened? Hey now. That you shouldn't have done that, knucklehead. See? You heard that? Somebody corrected himself back there. Whew. See, if you bite that, it doesn't taste good, and then you get pinched. Stupid boy. Yeah, and Watchmen, yeah, they were using military contractors for that. Now they're going to put military on ships. Yeah, I heard about that. That's weird. I hadn't read into it too much. But yeah, so in the state, I believe it's Illinois, an illegal immigrant can now be a police officer, take the training, put on a gun, and enforce the law. Now, whether it gets challenged, So needless to say, like the Police Benevolent Association, the Sheriff's Union, like everyone's going to court with this one. That probably will not stand. But let's think about it. You've confused an entire young generation. They don't know what sex they are anymore. And it's not like, oh, I'm a dude, but I'm gay and I like other dudes. You know, that's straightforward. They don't know what gender they are. They've made it into something different. You've encouraged not eating meat, not eating certain vegetables and proteins that will create healthy men and women. You've weakened, not just emotionally, but physically, the constitution of the people of the country. And when I say constitution, I mean the physical constitution, not the document. But you're going to bring people from third world countries who are not being diminished physically, who come from cultures where abuse of women and children is okay, and those guys, you're going to give them badges and authority over the rest of us. What the hell is going on in Illinois? That cannot be legal. One of you said it. That cannot be legal. I'll probably get my live kicked off, and that's okay. That cannot be legal. It absolutely can't. That makes zero sense to me. We don't know who they are. Just because, Pango Pango says they have a clean record, how do you know he didn't murder 3 people or rape someone over there? And his brother's a judge and expunged his record. That's not going to fly. No, I'm not saying immigrants can't be cops. That's actually the opposite. I think actually it's good when you have legal immigrants come to the country, they get their green card, whatever, and they say, I want to be a police officer in America. Because those are the kind of people who can relate to the ethnic groups we have here. That's very valuable. As a guy who grew up in New York City and then lived in Houston for years, you have so many ethnic groups. Having a Vietnamese-speaking cop, or a cop who married a Vietnamese person working on the Vietnamese side of town, the people know them. They speak the language, right? There's a bond there. You have Latino cops working on the Spanish side of town. Guys like me, I speak English and Spanish. Or like my sons, the neighbors, the people are like, oh, I can speak to you in the old country language, especially the older folks. I can speak to you in the old language, you understand me, and I can communicate my problems, and the police can be my partner in our neighborhood. That's valuable. But you're taking illegal immigrants? They already broke the law. They should be in jail. By federal law, that's a felon. And that semi just ran the red light. Ooh, little car, I'm glad you saw that, boy. What the fuck is wrong with truck drivers this month? That's the 4th time I've seen that, y'all. He wasn't going fast. It wasn't like he was hauling ass and like, I can't stop because I'm going too fast. He was going like 15 miles an hour and he just decided, YOLO, I'm going to go through the stop sign or the red light. Oh, these assholes. Is it me or are y'all exhausted from stupid people? Put 1 in the chat if you're tired of stupid people. Not people making mistakes, outright dumbasses. Throw 1 in that chat. I'm just curious to see if anyone else is feeling my love right now. And, oh, doggone it. Yeah, Daryl won. Daryl has several 1s. You could put uno, and that's technically another 1, by the way. They're everywhere 1. This is crazy. And you know what's funny? They don't want to put... So we have a lot of veterans. Like, we have Project 214 out here, which is now officially a 501c group. And it's a bunch of veterans and first responders, service members, going to social events with other people who are still struggling after coming back from combat to get them out, to get their families out, to get them canoeing, fishing, hiking. And we actually have some companies are now funding the group so they can buy like canoes so they can take them all to canoe. These guys would give their life for children in a school. Why are we not saying, hey, we need a dozen veterans who are willing to go get trained as peace officers and work part-time in the schools protecting the kids? You damn well know you'll get a bunch doing that if they can get through the training and all that legal stuff. We have service members and retirees in the freaking street. But and we have immigrants who've come here legally and are looking for work, and they're willing to do the jobs a lot of us don't want to do. And hell, you came here legally, you have a green card, you want to work, man, I will help you find a freaking job. Good on you. Go and get your kids in school. You pay your taxes like me. You be my neighbor. We keep our neighborhood clean because that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. And they're going to give badges to guys who snuck in illegally? Are they insane? I can't compute this. So anyway, Shad, Project 214 right now is Texas. I think I meant to tell you that on a previous chat. And it's actually was formed by 2 Marines and a very fucked up Coast Guard guy who did interdictions and wound up and down South America. And so right now that group is about 20 strong, and I'm like an associate member. I was like, I'm a guardsman, man. I didn't go into that crap. And they're like, that doesn't matter. You swore the oath, and you're one of the idiots with us. So I actually got to take a bunch of them. Some of them are actually my business partners. So like we had lunch and beer after the clay shoot yesterday, which was fun. A bit too much beer, but it was fun. Until the morning. This morning it was not so much fun. I was like, hydration, bad. Yeah, staying out in the sun and then drinking craft beer in the afternoon. Yeah, it's Project 214, but it's spelled out. It's like Project, the number 2, and then 14 spelled out. And the logo is one guy helping another one up a rock face. That's actually a picture the Marsoc guy took. He showed me the original picture of one of his squad helping another guy up the rock face. And he took that picture with the sun behind him. It's one of the most amazing pictures. That's not on Time Magazine blows my mind. And but yeah, right now they're only in Texas, so canoeing in Big Bend, and actually those idiots wound up saving 2 women who were hiking and got lost in the trail. And so Big is one of the thing, huh? They're like, you offend us. Anyway, yeah, I froze. I saw that. That sucks. I gotta find a place to... Hey, Lee, what's going on? Yeah, well, I was controversial today, so I probably offended the internet gods. Either that or I drove past a Wi-Fi and my phone tried to connect to the Wi-Fi and it kicked me. Resist the urge to microwave my cell phone and stuff. Get on the charger. So, yeah, I got to actually do that, which is kind of funny. So, yeah, folks, some of these states are losing their minds, and you guys are going to need to look at your state representatives. But yeah, the guys from Project 214 did save a couple of lost hikers by accident. They told me after they had estimated those women had walked 18 miles in the hut and drank what was likely contaminated water. And they said if they had been out there, because one of them was a corpsman, and he said had they been out there another 6-8 hours, they would have found them dead, which is usually what happens. They just lucked out. Because there were 2 kayaking groups. There was a family and then the Project 214 guys. And after that, there were no more groups the rest of the day. So if they missed that second group, there would have been nobody until the next day, and they probably would have died. So I'm glad they were rescued, and, you know, bravo to the guys for getting it done. But yeah, you never know. You might run into someone who needs help the way things have been. But yeah, folks, it's yeah, some of these state representatives and state senators have absolutely freaking lost their mind, y'all. I don't think they... Hey, Joe, take care of yourself, buddy. It's local elections time, and we have already had 2... Yeah, and you know what, Lee? You can change the feds if you're effective at the grassroots level. Because you start changing your state and house laws, and you get the right people in your state, you can then challenge the Fed in court. Even if the Fed wins, you got a state that's aligned with the people, which is the way it should be. And that's why we have separation of church and state. Otherwise, if we were truly a democracy and not a constitutional republic, we would be the United States of Los Angeles or New York. I'm dead serious, because the rest of us would become irrelevant. Yeah. And what's funny is the people who come here legally, I have buddies who are getting their green cards. And that's right, Lee. And these are good guys, professionals, families, paying taxes. And one was finally able to buy a shotgun. He can't buy a handgun, he can buy a long gun. And he actually won one at a clay shoot, like a little 12 gauge. And he was so excited. And he's like, I've never owned a gun before. Like, my country, I couldn't do this. I know what to do with this now. I said, go get a class, go get training. Actually, some of the guys wound up taking him back out because he's never owned a pump. And that's what he had used over-unders he borrowed from us for the competitions. He's never had a pump shotgun. He's like, I don't know how this works. So we talked to the owner, and she said, yeah, take him to, station 17 and just throw some clays and teach him. So a couple of the hunters took him and taught him the basics of shotgunning, how to store it, how to clear it, the stuff you need to so you don't shoot your feet. Hey, Prepper Book Club. All right, for those of you who are Star Wars fans, you remember it was the Phantom Menace, not Phantom Menace. So you had the original 3 Star Wars, then you had the 3 that went back in time to when Anakin was a little boy. And they show when the Emperor took power, and he said, we have enemies within the state. We have enemies who will hurt us. And so I have created the army of the Republic, and it was the clones, right? And we will gain control of our people, and until then I will take emergency powers. And and he does this whole speech, and everyone applauds, and the 2 heroes who are in the Senate look at each other, and one says to the other, and I can't remember who said it to who, says, who would have thought that we would have watched the end of our republic go out with applause? All the whole Congress, they were like, yay, the Emperor, he's becoming Emperor of the Republic. And then, like a year later, you have Darth Vader, and they became an empire, right? And but it's funny that in a movie, they showed how quickly that can happen, and it was all fictitious. But think about it, the Emperor was creating the rebellion he created the problem and then created the solution, and in doing so consolidated power and got rid of his enemies. So those are the kind of things that are very elaborate plans in real life, and they're not easy to figure out. It's what Hitler did. He created the brown shirts to go and attack the Jews and the Christians or whoever the hell else they attacked. And then the first thing he did when he took power was, we have lawlessness. We're going to ban guns, which ultimately screwed the Jews, the Poles, and the gypsies and everyone else that were in the country. And then he said, but first, he sent the police and the Gestapo after the brown shirts, who already had Gestapo embedded in the brown shirts, with the plan of doing this. And, he did the same thing. And Star Wars took a lot of themes from the Nazis when they represented the Empire, right? The marching, the way the armored vehicles were used. I mean, you look at the helmet that they use in the battle in the frozen wasteland in Hoth. That helmet is a mimic of the German tank commander helmet. So just interesting how cinematography sometimes reflects. But yeah, that's real. And it's just insane that they're trying to fill the ranks of our law enforcement in a major state with people who shouldn't be here and who have no allegiance to the country or to the culture or to the people, who are coming from cultures. And ironically, a lot of the cultures would in certain countries, they throw the poor gay kids off of a building, right? That's exactly what it is, right? So there are no rights with a lot of these folks, they didn't come here willingly and they're like, oh, I see, this is an open society, they're different people and so on, we have common law. No, you take a guy fresh from a third world country where you can just grab a woman and rape her in the back seat of your patrol car, and they're going to do it here. So the fact that Illinois even passed this, it'll probably get squashed in the Supreme Court. But again, another distraction and another attempt to flip over the culture that is the United States. And this is a diverse culture. This is a culture that represents a lot of people. If you couldn't tell, I'm a Hispanic, right? My dad was still pissed about the Bay of Pigs when he died in 2006. You know, he's like, fucking Castro, and Kennedy is screwed up. He should have bombed them, you know. And he was, like I've said, he was a Puerto Rican version of Red Foreman. He's like, it's a pendejo, you know. It's like, Dad, don't call that guy pendejo. He's just stupid. Which technically, I guess, is the same thing. But folks, look, watch your states. Your states. Mom's gone, so I can lay down. All right, Joe, get some rest, man. Joe's been having a month. Pay attention to your state elections, and if you find a rep, you find someone, hey, Hudson, thank you. You find someone locally that you like, that you think represents you, meet them. Go to the rallies. I've gone to the political rallies here in West Texas. I've met my state rep. I've met my federal rep. I've met Crenshaw, right? I've met August Pfluger. I actually got, one of my friends has a picture of me with Lauren Boebert. All right, now granted, I lean a little right if you couldn't tell. But I've also met folks on the other side of the fence, right? But these are people who I believe represent their local constituents the right way. And they're not idiots. I'm finding something on TV. So, you know, be involved. You don't have to donate a bunch of money. You can just offer to take phones. You can offer to, you know, hand out signs to people who've agreed, hand out bumper stickers, whatever. Or you just speak out. You could go on social media, you tell your friends. Even word of mouth can move the needle, right? If you find, regardless of party, Democrat, Republican, Green, whatever, somebody that represents you and your people, get involved in some small way. Every little bit moves the needle. What evil people count on is good people to do nothing. At the end of the day, they don't want good people to do things. That's why they killed, or was it Off the Wall Prepper was 14,000 people. They killed his channel. KJ absolutely killed his channel. He had to start all over again. They've gotten several on other platforms as well. Instagram put me in jail for 2 weeks for a video that took off on the other platforms. Instagram put me in jail. And it was about child trafficking and pedos abusing children in front of, you know, using stores as a front. So, you know, they'll try and squash you. I drew their attention last night. Good. But you know what? The people are winning. In a lot of states, we're starting to see that pendulum go the other way. In a lot of places, we've seen where the people challenged. You know, they had the drag queen shows here in Texas, right? Which you think, oh no, Texas. And the parents went, so the school board was trying to get a law passed, ban my contents overseas. Oh yeah, they've done that to me too. Any parent that protested would be considered a felony. So a lawyer took the case, challenged it, and said that school board hearings are where parents can voice their opinions by law. Unless they've openly threatened physical harm, you can't do it. And they won. So now the school district puts out a waiver. We're going to have this person presenting or this person singing. This is the website where you can see the person's past presentations. If you want to opt out, you sign here and your kid will go to the auditorium and they watch Shrek or something, you know. See, and Hudson's right. I lived in upstate New York. If y'all cut New York City out and made like New York South and New York North, I would live in upstate New York in a freaking heartbeat. Hudson would have me as a neighbor. I'd be like, hell yeah, I want to go. What's that park right off the Hudson? There's a highway goes right up the river, and there's a park, because I know, because my brother fell down. He fell down the hill. It's literally, you can walk down. It's a palace by the Palisades. You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the park. And I loved hiking there. I used to go to the Delaware Water Gap, throw on a backpack, and we'd be gone for 48 hours. Me and a bunch of guys, we'd sit there, we'd eat, we'd pass out on the rocks, and then come back the next morning. Like, yeah, but that stupidity in the South ruins the North. If you cut New York City and put like Eastern Long Island and New York State upstate as its own state and called it, New York +2 or something, that would be an awesome place to live. But they're stuck with the stupid in New York City, which Jason likes to battle openly. It's in the works though. New Amsterdam, the 51st state. Well, there's a chunk of Oregon wants to become part of Idaho. They want to run off. They want to run off Portland and that whole stupid on the coast, and basically become part of Idaho and extend Idaho. And they've already gone to Congress with it, and they didn't fulfill the criteria. So now they're going to attempt again. Hey, Vision. So, folks, I got to bring the passed out potato to go get cat food, ironically, and get him a new toy so he doesn't chew my seatbelts anymore. But, folks, watch those local lawmakers, okay? Again, when a senior state senator is telling you, I can't protect my constituents anymore, I'm outnumbered, leave your state. What the hell? There's something wrong, guys. So guys, girls, I'm going to jump off. You guys stay safe. Oh, Vision. It was a Smith & Wesson SD9 is what I won. I was volunteering at a fundraiser yesterday. It was a charity shoot. I didn't shoot. I got free tacos. And the coordinator said, hey, since you guys are volunteering, you get a raffle ticket too. And everyone gets a raffle ticket, right? So you throw them in there and they spin it. I was the second name call. I was looking off in space. I was joking with some other idiot behind me. I'm like, bah! And they're like, dude, they called your name. And I'm like, what? And the coordinator knows me because I was one of his volunteers. He's like, dude, you want a gun? And I looked at my buddy. I'm like, I didn't even shoot and I won something. Fuck. So, and then one of my friends, she shot so badly that she got a Barbie fishing pole. I kid you not. She was so excited. She's like, if I'm going to lose, I want to lose fun. And then she won a $500 gift card. So that kind of made up for shooting at the bottom of the women's group. But she got a Barbie fishing pole. And I got a 9mm. And one of my buddies won a 300 mag rifle with scope. A Browning. That's a nice guy. That's expensive. God, that's got to be a $2,000 platform. So, yeah, folks. Yeah, it was a good giveaway. And they actually, so companies sponsor the gift and then write it off as a fundraiser. So, again, the companies and the charity organization, they know how to check the boxes so they can do the giveaways, get people involved, and still raise money. And everything's legit. Everything's legit paperwork. And so they've set up 2 field trips for undergraduate and graduate students to go out into the Sierra Nevadas or the mountains out in New Mexico, and then some in far west Texas by El Paso. And they get to go with professional geologists, geophysicists, and wildlife specialists so that they can be educated in this outdoor environment. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And it is mayhemic. I'll tell you what. And one guy won a Spider-Man fishing pole because he shot like ass. And he normally is a good shooter, which made it even funnier. If it's a new shooter, you're like, okay, well, you didn't shoot well. But it was actually a guy who's half decent, and he sucked yesterday for some reason. He just had a bad day. And so he won the Spider-Man fishing pole. So, but look, folks, you guys be safe. Be careful out there. Watch your local politicians, because those are the ones you can change. And if you change your state, that can affect the Fed, right? So we're going to do what these heathens do. We're going to do grassroots shit. Get involved. Go say your piece. Go to your city council meetings. Go to your county. Go to your school board, whatever it is. If you have a friend who's running for school board and you trust that person, support their campaign and get them elected. And then you back them up. That's the way we change shit here. Okay? Having illegal people becoming cops is insane. Having children taken from parents because they don't want them to attend a certain class is insane. That's contrary to the laws, in my opinion, of the Constitution, nature, and God. And I'm not an overly churchy guy, but there's something inherently wrong with half the shit. So, no, take that fight to them. Bullshit. Bullshit. And we can do it from the ground up. So you guys be good, be safe, y'all take care of each other. And you see Bentley's ears are up. He's like, this is the dog store. See his butt here? So he's going to get a dog toy. So I'm going to stick him in a shopping cart here in a minute. You guys be good. Take care. Bye.